Okay, so this is a full course into NinjaTrader's Advanced Trade Management, or ATMs. Now, for a lot of you, this is the major reason why you're using NinjaTrader, because it is a very unique feature that makes it and can make it a lot easier for you and your trading. In fact, some of you, it might be one of the reasons why you're even profitable. First of all, you can get to your ATMs here and you can set them up here. You can set these up with an order. I'm going to show you how to set these all up manually and what all the settings do so that you understand it. And we're going to be going through some examples as we work through it. So if you like this sort of content, I do want to encourage you, please whack that thumbs up button so that we know that we're doing the right things. Also allows us to put more of these videos out. With that being said, I'm going to basically run you through my chart setup so you know what we're looking at as we go through these. These lines that you see on my chart, they're just news events. We have a free indicator that you can get off our website if you want that. The patterns here, this is how I trade. I trade using patterns. You don't have to, but when I set my ATMs, I am going to be setting up in relationship to these patterns. So if it's something that you do want to trade, or if you actually want to learn more about it, you can grab us on our live chat. We have a published video. It's not on YouTube yet. But if you want, I think it's unlisted. If you go into the live chat and ask them for a link for it, they will be able to provide it to you. It's a full course, a beginner's guide onto trading these XABCD patterns. But this video is purely going to be on setting up these ATMs. I'm just going to be working with these indicators on the chart so that you know what they are. Now, these ATM strategies are not full-blown automated trading strategies. Like I just said, I use these with patterns. However, you can use these to automate parts of your trade. The best way to kind of think about it is as if you had an assistant that you used at your order desk beside you right now that would do stuff for you, right? It automates parts of your trade that you tell it to. So for example, let's just say we have a 2-to-1 risk versus reward. So we're looking for an entry point halfway into this reversal area with a stop just outside of it. And we're looking for a reward that's going to be double that, right? So basically I have to be right 33% of the time to break even if I maintain this 2-to-1 risk versus reward. Now, let's just say I place my order at 18,299.75 and I have my stop here at 18,323. So I can have this automatically move to break even when I'm halfway to my target. And it's not going to keep trailing it. It's just going to move it to break even, and that's it. And that's one of the most popular ways I use the ATMs is by doing these little automated tasks that I might not be around to do, or I can't do it quick enough, or I mean, if you trade tick charts, you're definitely going to want to be using these. But these are the sort of things that we'll be doing. Now you'll notice I have a bunch of them in here. Some of them start with FUT for futures. Some of these start with FX for obviously Forex. You can use these with stocks. You can use them with crypto. Obviously with crypto, you can use NinjaTrader for demo trading. You're not placing a live crypto trade. But you can set these up for any of these. So if you want to get these, we do have a free pack that you can get. It's totally free. You can download. Just head to our website or just Google ATM pack, XABCD trading. You'll find it. Just Google ATM pack. You'll find it. We're the only ones that give these things out. So if you want to grab that, you can get that from our site. And you can go ahead and install these into your system. And then you'll be able to use them. So if you want those as examples as we go along, you are more than welcome to have them. Just something that we give out to the community. Now you can put all these patterns in ATMs through different order methods that NinjaTrader lets you do. We have a video on different order methods that you can use, but we're going to specifically focus our lessons on ChartTrader, which is this panel here, and the ATMs. But like I said, you can see this ATM drop down in any of these. Also, if you want to automate these ATMs with a hotkey, we do have a way that you can do that as well. If you're interested in automating them through hotkeys. Otherwise, let's get started on our first ATM and looking at all these fields through the ChartTrader. when you open up your ATM strategy window, you want to hit this custom, which will allow you to create a new one by default. Now we're going to go over and talk about all these parameters so you understand what you are doing. Obviously, when it comes to placing orders and stuff like that, they should be tested, but you should also know ahead of time what they are doing, how to read them. So it is important to know what all these properties do, just so that you're aware of them and what features it can do for you, right? So your order quantity, hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. Your TIF is your time in force, or how long that order is good for. So by default, it's good until it's canceled, or it could be good for the day, that sort of thing. Your parameter type, this is an important one because you'll be picking ticks or pips or price, or maybe you're using a percentage, right? They all do different things, but they will be referenced. I'm going to jump down into this more area. You'll see underneath chase limit here, it says bracket T bracket because I chose ticks. If I change this to pips, you'll see it says P. So just so you understand what the parameter type does and what those brackets mean as we go throughout things, that will be changing and will be updating. Now you could have an order quantity of, let's just say 3, and you can add in multiple targets, right? So you could have 3 contracts and you could say, I'm going to take off 1 at each different level, and you can put in your stop loss and targets, and each one can have their own individual stop strategy. Now, these parameters we're going to discuss in their own video. I want you to think of ATMs as your entry strategy as one cluster of ATMs, and then the other component to ATM strategies is your stop strategy, and that's going to be another cluster of different strategies. So 2 different things that you need to think about: your entry strategy and then your stop strategy. Okay. Now underneath more, most of you guys are not going to be using this stuff, but I do want to explain it so you know what is available to you. But you can have the trade reverse at your stop or your target. You can even chase it. So your target chase is when your chase gets enabled. So once your target's hit, then the chase happens. So think of a chase like a trailing stop sort of thing, right? Your chase limit is going to be how close or far behind that is going to trail. And then you have your chase to enable and your chase if it touches a certain level. Your stop limit and stop loss, if you wanted that to happen. In your MIT order, your market touch order for profit, if you want that to be an option tied into your strategy as well. Now your shadow strategy is if you want to compare what you're setting up to something else that you already have to see which one would have worked out better. That's what your shadow strategy is. And then of course you can save these as a template name so that when you hit that drop down box, you can easily pull it up. And you have your OK and cancel buttons. Hopefully that is self-explanatory of why you have those. But yeah, that should kind of wrap up your property box and everything that you need to know, including your advanced features of what they do. And that all gets tied into your ATM strategy for entering to the market. And we'll have another video on the stop strategy portion of it and all the properties that go into that. Okay, so this video is exciting for me because we get to create our first ATM strategy. So if you haven't done that before, this is probably going to be one that you want to watch too. But we want to open up our ATM strategies. And again, it doesn't matter how you do this, but we can click on this drop down and we can select custom. That's going to open up a new box that allows us to configure our ATM strategies. So I'm going to say that we're going to have 2 contracts in here, and this is ticks, right? Because we are looking at an ES, it's a futures chart, and we can select our stop and profit as well as any advanced features that we want. Now, for this purpose, I'm going to put a stop down near about 3601. Our target's going to be at 3608, and I'm going to select a limit order afterwards for 3602. Now, underneath our stop strategies, we can come down here and we can select custom, and this is going to be like a whole new category of templates. But basically, we can select an auto break even, and we can have an auto trail, or we don't have to have an auto trail at all, which is what we're going to do. We are going to say as soon as we are up 5 ticks, move our auto break even to, or our stop to auto break even. So once I'm up 5 ticks, then move me to auto break even, which will take care of whatever my fill level is, right? So it's just going to move my stop all the way up to break even once I'm up 5 ticks. Now you can do 5 ticks plus a certain amount. So when it comes to your profit trigger, this is going to be your 5 ticks above or basically at your break even. So you're up 5 ticks in profit to have that stop loss move to break even. Your plus is going to be the set, is where you're going to set the amount to be added to the break even. So if you want to take that stop loss and move it not to break even, but break even plus 1, then that's what the plus is for. I have a whole article of why you should never move a stop to anything but break even. When it comes to, like, not that you can lock it in, but you don't want to do a break even plus 1, for example. That's actually going to kill a lot of your statistics that are very useful to you, even more so than what you could be gaining as a monetary value. But that's another article that we have that if you don't know where our blog is or you can't find it, get us on the live chat. We can link that to you. Anyways, so your profit trigger, we're going to be up 5 ticks and then it's automatically going to be moved to break even. There's no trail stop on this. And we're just going to save this template as example 1, break even 5 ticks. So I'm going to hit save. And that's going to be, once I press OK right here, underneath my stop strategy, I'm going to press OK again. Actually, I'm going to save this template first. We're going to call this example 1. And press OK. Now I'm going to place the order. So I'm going to right click on my chart at 3602. I'm going to say buy the limit. And now it's going to put, once I see price get me filled at 3602, it's going to put a stop at 3601, a target at 3608. As soon as I'm up 5 ticks, it brings my stop to break even. There's no break even plus anything because there was no plus in there. So that will take care of my first ATM order with an auto break even stop management. Okay, in this video, we're going to be looking at the parameters for the ATM stop strategy part of your ATM strategy. So this is going to allow you to move trades to auto break even or auto break even plus a certain amount. Or you can auto trail your stop with up to 3 different steps. And we're going to talk about what each one of those does. You can also simulate a stop. I don't know too many people that would find that useful, but that is something that is going to be available to you as well. So let's just start from the top and we'll work our way down. Our profit trigger is going to say that we're going to move our stop to break even, whatever that is, break even point, once we are up 5 ticks. Now I'm saying ticks because in brackets you can say it says T because this is based off of the parameter type that you set in the previous window, which is for your ATM. So you can see there it's kind of faded, but it says in ticks. If that was pips, then this will say P for pips. So once you're up 5 ticks, it's going to automatically move you to break even plus 1. So you're not strictly being forced to say break even, but break even plus how many do you want to lock in. We have an article on why you should never do a plus 1. It's on our blog. If you don't know where that is, by all means, just ask us on our live chat and we will definitely be able to give you that article. It might be an interesting read and you might totally agree with it or totally disagree with it, but at least you're aware of the challenges behind it. So read that before you select a plus. So I'm going to put that back to 0. So once we're up 5 ticks, then we are going to move to auto break even. Now the auto trail is actually like your trailing stop loss. This can be done 3 different steps. So think of it as 3 different contracts with 3 different ways of doing it. So I'm going to keep this at step 1 and then we can simplify this or make it more complex as we go along. But let me just put in a stop loss of 6, a profit trigger of 4, and a frequency of, whoops, that didn't work, and a frequency of 2. Now what this is going to do, okay, let's look at this profit trigger first. Okay, so this auto break even is going to come into effect when we are up 4 ticks. And what it's going to do is it's going to set a stop loss. It's going to bring that stop loss 6 ticks behind it. Okay. And then every 2 ticks that we've moved up in profit, it's going to move that stop loss up. Okay. So for every additional 2 ticks in profit, that stop loss will be increased. So it's going to move it up in like a step of 2. If you want, most of you who came from maybe a different platform are probably used to never having this option that an auto trail just moves up 1 tick at a time. Well, this, you can have it, let's just say move up 5 ticks at a time or 10 ticks at a time. So it's doing like an auto trail, almost more of like a manual type auto trail where you might move it up in steps. This platform will allow you to do that automatically. So it's kind of cool. But that's what is happening here. So again, if you want to change these and you had 8, so when you're up 8 ticks, then it's going to set the stop loss 10 ticks behind it, and it's going to move that stop loss up every single tick as you go up further and further in profit. Okay, so that's what your parameters do for your steps. Like I said, your simulated stops you're probably not going to use, so you can just save this template as what you need it for and just press OK, and you are done. So let's build your first useful stop ATM. So in most cases, you're going to have probably a few of these. So for example, you might move your profit trigger up. So it says when you're up 10 ticks and automatically moving to break even, you are not going to have an auto trail, and you're just going to save this as stop. Maybe you can use my naming scheme, futures, stop 10 ticks, no trail, right? And just save it like that. That's going to be your first one. And then your next one might be to have an auto trail where once you're up 10 ticks, then you're going to move this to, let's just say your profit trigger is going to be 10. So of course, when it automatically gets to break even, you are going to have your profit, your auto chase, your auto trail, I guess, kick in when that happens. So you're break even, and then you're going to automatically start that trace. And that's why I'm saying this is going to be more useful than when we first looked at the video with the parameters, because this is probably when you're going to want it kicked in, is once your stop gets moved to break even. Then what you're going to do is you're going to set your stop maybe 10 ticks back. So that's going to be at your break even point, right? And then your frequency is going to be every single tick you go up, you're going to move this up 1 tick as well. So now we're going to save this as futures stop 10 tick break even, auto trail 10 ticks, step 1. Okay, just so I know it's moving up 1 by 1. So you can get an idea of what the strategy does just by the name of it, and hit save and press OK. So this way, when we do go into, let me fill this out. When we go to fill out this ATM order, we can press OK, and we can right click and say buy limit 3602, and now that auto break even, auto chase, as well as our stops and profits are all going to be done for us, which is pretty crazy. Okay, so this is where the fun begins. We're going to do an example here. This is going to be pretty basic. We're going to create a new ATM strategy. So I'm going to go custom, and I'm going to say 1 contract ticks. So how many ticks below our stop? We're going to say that we want 10 tick stop, and our profit's going to be 20 ticks, and our stop strategy is going to be blank. So this is going to be pretty basic. As soon as we get in, we're going to have a stop loss of 10 ticks, profit of 20. We're not going to do anything else. And I'm just going to say, okay. Now you can name this template if you wanted to. Right now it's just going to say custom because I don't have a template name to it. I'm going to right click and say buy at 3602. Now, I am connected to the simulated feed this weekend, so this allows us to test out our ATM even quite nicely, so we can bring this trend down of price until we get down to our fill. Once you do get filled, I'm going to reverse this trend and have price go up so we can talk about what has just happened. So I'm waiting to get filled. Okay, so right away you can see my stop is going to be 10 ticks below with a 20 tick target. If you've traded XABCD patterns before, you'll know that a 2-to-1 risk versus reward ratio is good, because what we're looking for then is a 33% win ratio or better to break even. Anyways, you can see that that all happened automatically. There's no auto break even. There's nothing like that going on. It's just as soon as we hit the market, we have our stop placement placed, and then we have our target. Now you'll see as soon as we hit our target, it's at 36.07. We're trending up quite strongly here, and we're about to get filled. There we go. Our stop is removed for us, as well as the trade gets closed out in full, because we had one contract that we were managing with our ATM, and we had entered with one contract, and that's it. Okay, going over our examples again, we are going to do the same sort of thing. This time we're going to have an auto break even. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to select a new custom ATM, and I'm going to say that we're going to enter with one contract. This is again ticks because it's the futures. Stop is going to be 10 ticks. Profit is going to be 20 ticks. And this time we're going to add a stop strategy. So I'm going to hit this arrow and select custom again, and we're going to put a profit, a break even of 10 ticks. So once I'm at a 1-to-1 risk versus reward, this is going to move me automatically to break even. I'm not going to have any trail. We'll press OK, OK again. I'm going to wait and put my order in at 36.02. Okay, and now we're going to wait until we get filled. So I'm going to bring down the trend. Once again, I am selected or connected to a simulated data feed. It's a great way to test your ATMs. Highly recommend it that you do it beforehand. As soon as we get filled, I'm going to reverse the trend so that we can see that auto break even happen. So price is heading down, waiting for 36.02 to get filled. As soon as we get filled, our stop is going to be placed 10 ticks below. Profit's going to be 20 ticks above. I'm going to reverse the trend, and we will be looking at an auto break even once we are up 10 ticks. So that's a risk versus reward of about 1-to-1. Right now you can see our stop to target is a 2-to-1. So once we're about halfway, this is when we're expecting price to break even, somewhere around that halfway point there. So we're waiting for price to reverse. I'll make this happen a little bit quicker here. We'll make that trend go way up. As soon as price gets to that level, you'll see our stop automatically is going to be moved. There you go. And now we're just waiting on a risk-free trade for either our target to be hit or our stop to be hit. I'm going to let this play out. Our target's going to get hit, and you'll see our stop gets removed as the trade basically closes itself out. Okay, back to configuring another ATM. We're going to hit our drop down box here, and we're going to configure a new custom ATM. I'm going to do a little different now. We're going to do an order quantity of 2, and we are going to have 2 basically different levels here. One's going to have a 10 pip stop. The other one's going to have a 10 pip stop. Our first one's going to have a risk versus reward target of a 1-to-1. So once we're up 10 pips, or 10 ticks, I guess. And this one's going to be 20 ticks. Okay, so we're going to have 2 different trades now. And we're going to have basically our orders divided in half. So then we're going to have 2 different targets. So we'll have a 1-to-1 risk versus reward. And in this case, one's going to be a 1-to-1 fill. The other's going to be a 2-to-1 fill. So we'll press OK. Again, there's no stop management here. And we're going to enter in at 36.02, and you'll see 2 orders get placed, 2 different targets, same stop. Okay, 1-to-1, which is our first one at 36.0450, and our next one is going to be at 36.07. So I'm going to have both of these hit their targets by changing that trend up. So we can again test these ATMs. And as they close out, remember there's no break even, there's no stop management. Then you'll see that each one of these gets their own targets and are treated individually. And it's all happening automatically. There we go. Okay, getting ready to do another custom ATM. We are going to, this time, let's go into create our new one. Let me just select a new one here. And this time we're going to say order quantity is going to be 1. We're going to have, well, it's an ES chart, so it's going to be ticks. We're going to have our stop loss as 10, our profit as 20. And this time we're going to select a stop strategy where we can go and do a trailing stop. So we're going to say custom. Now my break even point is going to be our 1-to-1. Okay, so that's when it's going to be at break even. We're not going to do a plus at all in this example. We're going to have an auto trail so that it's going to trigger the auto trail once we hit that break even point. We're going to trail 5, actually we'll say 10 pips or 10 ticks below that, and we're going to move up every tick of the way. So we're going to press OK. And we're going to say okay here. I'm going to place my buy limit and we'll bring price back down. Now what this is going to do is this is going to get us filled. We have a 10 tick stop, 20 tick target. Our break even is at our 1-to-1, and then our auto trail is going to kick in automatically and go up one step at a time. So every tick it goes up, our auto trail is going to go up 1 tick as well. So we'll just wait for this to get filled. Okay, so you can see right now we got filled. I'm going to reverse price and have this go up now. Remember, at our 1-to-1 is when that break even kicks in. And then our auto trail will kick in at the same time. So there's our break even jump. And now you're going to start to see it go up in increments of 1. For every tick we go up. You can see the auto trails trailing behind exactly 10 ticks behind where we had set it. So you don't see any jump. And then you can see as we get closer and closer, this is going to close itself out and the auto trail disappears. So that's how you do an auto trail added on with your basic ATM. Okay, once again, signing up for a new ATM. We're going to go to custom, and this is going to be an order quantity of 2. We're going to have 2 different targets and 2 different stop strategies all running at the same time in this one. So I'm going to add on an additional target, and each one of these is going to be 1 contract. Our stop is going to be the same 10 tick stop, 20 tick target. And this is going to be a 40 tick target. So it's going to be a 4-to-1. We're going to have a different stop strategy for each one. So let's go into custom. Our first one is going to be a break even once we're halfway up, which we've done before. This time we're going to do a break even plus, we'll do 2 just so you can see it. And then we'll press OK. There's not going to be any auto trail. This one, what we're going to do is a custom, and we're going to say break even at that 10-to-1. Or sorry, the 1-to-1, which is at 10 ticks. And we're going to have an auto trail that happens again on this one. And we're going to say, and this time you're going to see a jump. So the auto trail is going to start when we get to break even, but this time instead of being 10 ticks behind it, it's going to be 5. So what you're going to see is price is going to be at break even, or stops going to be at break even, and then all of a sudden it's going to jump 5 ticks and then start doing a 1-to-1 trail behind it. So let's press OK. And we'll press OK on that. And we'll enter the market at 36.02. I'm going to bring price down so we get filled. Okay, and I'm going to trend it back up again. And now what you're going to see is price is going to, once we get to that 1-to-1, is going to jump up and lock ourselves in that break even. And one of them is going to go break even +2. So you're going to start to see two different stops. Okay. And then that one jumped up 5 as well. The next one there, the other one that was at +2 is right there. And it's trailing behind a 1-to-1. If you need to replay the video to catch it, this is what I mean. ATMs happen so fast, which is one of the advantages of using them over you doing it as the human. And it basically jumped from break even to 5 ticks above and then started trailing behind it 1 tick. That can be really handy if you have news events coming out. And there's our target being filled, and our other one is still going to be trailing behind a 1-to-1 until we get stopped out. Now, we've always had it hit a target before an example so far. Let's go ahead and get that stop hit, and you can see what will happen with the target. So we're going to get stopped out for a gain, and then our target is going to be removed at the same time. And that concludes that. Okay, so this is going to get a little bit more complex. I'm going to come down here and start up a new ATM. This time we're going to do it with, well, 2 contracts. We'll say we'll do a stop of 10 ticks, profit of 40. Okay, so we have a longer target here, and our stop strategies therefore going to change. We're going to say custom. This is going to be a 2-step, and our profit to break even is going to be, so we're going to be up 10 ticks when we get moved to break even automatically. And that's going to be what we set for our profit trigger for our first step. Okay, and we're going to put a 10 tick trail behind it, and it's going to move up every tick we go up. The stop's going to move up in increments of 1. Now, our next thing that we're going to do is once we hit 20 in profit, 20 ticks in profit, we're again going to have a 10 tick stop. And it's going to move up, starting to move up in increments of 5. So first it's going to go 1 tick, and then it's going to jump in 5s as we go up. So it's a 2-step. So let's press OK. We'll press OK here, and we will wait for price to come down. I'm going to do this as a market order just so you can kind of see it. And we'll just buy the market with that ATM. So again, it's going to have that 10 tick. Now, the way these patterns work is once you get inside of this box, as long as you're in the green and yellow zone, we can look for that entry anywhere inside of that. So there we go. And now we're going to watch this reverse. Now, our stop has been placed with 2 contracts. As soon as we're up 10, we're going to be moved to break even. And then we're going to start trailing it 1 tick at a time. That's what I want you to look for, okay? It's going to start trailing it 1 tick at a time. And then it's going to stop trailing that 1 tick at a time. And it's going to go in increments of 5. Okay, once we're up 10 ticks, you're going to see that happen. Now I'm going to have price rip to the upside here. Okay, watch for the break even first. Okay, now increments of 1. Okay, now watch for the jump when it starts going from 1 to 5. Okay, this is going to be your step 2. There's your first jump of 5. Now it's waiting. It's waiting for the next jump of 5. Okay, and we're almost at our target. Now it would jump again, but obviously with it hitting the target, it just basically closes out the trade at that point. Okay, let's go ahead and set up a new ATM again. We're going to say custom. This is going to be order quantity of 2. We're going to have 2 different targets. So we're going to have one, which is going to have a 10 pip stop. Same with the second one. Profit in this case is going to be 25 and 50 ticks, and stop strategy is going to be custom. And for the first, this is the first target, okay, the first contract, we're gonna have a break even jump at our 1-to-1, and then we're gonna do steps. Okay, now this is going to be a 3-step, so a little bit more complicated. This is going to be a profit trigger of 10, and then this one is going to be 20, and this is going to be 30. So as price is going up, we're going to start locking these trades in more frequently. So first I'm going to trail 5 ticks behind, or I'm going to increment up in 5 ticks. And then I'm going to go 3 ticks and then 1 tick. So it's going to give it a little bit more room, but as we get closer and closer to our target, it's going to bring that stop in closer and closer and closer. And then our stop, it's all going to be 10 ticks behind like that. And we're just going to press OK. Now our second one, we're going to do a custom, and this is going to be a move to break even. I'm not going to do anything else, just so you can see how that other one operates. So that other trade's going to be stuck at break even, and we're going to wait for that to hit a target. So let's press OK and OK again. I'm going to wait for a price to come down, and we'll put a limit order right here and at 36.02 and wait for that to get filled. And then once it does, I'm going to start reversing course on price, and we'll be able to see how this all works out. This is very useful, especially if you are expecting high volatility. If price was to all of a sudden go your way, you want to be able to lock things in, give it a little bit of room so you're not trailing it too tightly. But then as it goes further and further and further, you start tightening it up, expecting it to reverse. So let's wait for us to get filled. Okay, and I'm going to reverse price. There's our 2 targets. So remember, one of them is going to stay at break even. The other one is going to move itself up and get tightening and getting it closer and closer and closer to where our target would be. And that all happens once we hit that 1-to-1 of the 10 ticks up, because we had 10 ticks of risk. So it's going to be around that, 36,450. There we go. Okay, so one's going to stay at break even. The other one's going to start locking itself in. So again, the steps, it's going 5, and as we get closer and closer, it's going to start moving in 3s and then 1s. So you'll see that get smaller and smaller and closer. Now you could even have it where it trails instead of 10 ticks behind. You can go 5 ticks and 3 ticks, and that way as the frequency increases, you could see that increase too. And then we just have our last one to hit, which is going to be our farther target. So definitely useful in different situations, especially depending on what might be happening in the market. But these can be applied in different ways. So that's the whole point of the template. So you don't have to configure it every single time. Very useful. And again, especially if you trade smaller term charts or even longer term charts and you just want to have like a little helper. It's almost like having a junior trader that you don't have to pay, right, to manage your trades to break even and whatnot. I had so much fun doing that. Let's kind of do that again. Okay, this time what we're going to do is select a new ATM. And we're going to have, I'll just do it with one, and we're just going to have a 3-step. And what we're going to do for a profit is we're going to say 10. Oops, I don't think I configured that yet. 10 stop, 50 profit. And just so you can see this, we're going to have our break-even point when we're up 10, risking 10, so a 1-to-1. Then we're going to have a 3-step, and it's going to take place at 10 ticks, 20 ticks, and 40 ticks. Is that how I want to do it? No. This is going to be 30, and this is going to be like, let's just say 42. Now, the reason why I'm going to do that is this is going to be 5 ticks as a stepping. This is going to be 3, and this is going to be 1. So that's how frequent it's going to move them up. And then my stop loss behind them is going to be originally going to be 10. That's going to be my 1-to-1. And then this is going to get in closer and closer to our position. So we're going to say 5, and then we're going to say 2. So let's press OK and OK. And we have price coming all the way back down. So I'm just going to fire off a buy market with that. Okay, now let's reverse again. And what you're going to see as we go up is our break even at that 10 ticks up. So we'll wait for that to happen. And then it's going to be in steps of 5 behind. And then it's going to get tighter and tighter. And that trail is going to move more frequent as we get closer and closer. So basically, this is our target. Watch how our stop gets closer and closer and starts moving up more frequent as we get closer and closer to that target. So these are steps of 5. Okay, so we're locking that in. And once we hit 20 ticks up, it's going to start moving in steps of 3. There we go. That's our jump. And we moved in that stop closer to that entry point. Now, when we're up 42 ticks, it's when we get even closer. So now we're really going to start chasing price. And it's just great that we can do this without needing to know any code. There we go. And now the frequency is really ramped up. So every ticket goes up. So we're really just kind of chasing it. Okay, so here's a situation that you might find yourself in. Here we have a simulated feed, and I'm going to lower the price here. I'm going to wait until I get to the market, and I'm just going to say, instead of having an ATM in this case, I'm going to say that we don't have anything. We're not using an ATM, okay? So price is coming down, no ATM strategy. What we're going to do is just buy the market here. Okay. Now we're going to have price go the opposite way, and let's just say we're sitting in this trade, and we're like, okay, so we have this trade open. Phone rings, we get called away from our desk. We want to have it automatically be brought up to break even when a predetermined amount has been set. So say we're up 10 ticks from where we currently are. Let's go ahead and set this up. So we are going to have an ATM that we're going to create now after the fact. We're going to go into custom. We have 2 contracts on here. So we're going to have order contracts or order quantity of 2 ticks. We're going to have a 10 tick stop attached to this. We're going to have a 20 tick target. And for a stop strategy, we are going to say custom, and this is going to be a profit of 10. So once we're up 10, we're going to be brought up to break even. And we are not going to have an auto trail on it. We just wanted to bring us up to break even. And at that point, when our risk is removed, then we'll come back after a meeting, whatever it is, and we will look at what we want to do with that trade. So let's save this as a template. That's going to be the first critical thing. So let's call it after stop movement. You can call these whatever you want. Save and okay. Now we also have to save the main ATM template. So we're going to say after stop break even. And press OK. Okay, so the trade seems to be going along fine. I don't know, maybe situations it's coming back closer. We're in a good position and we get called away, right? So what you need to do is open up your NinjaTrader 8 control center, and you have to find underneath your positions tab the position that you want to attach that ATM to after the fact, right? So we're going to right click on this now. And you can see there's an apply ATM strategy. And this is why naming it and saving as a template is critical, because it's not going to appear in this list unless it's saved as a template. So let's go ahead and we're going to select this and watch what happens. I'm just going to wait for price to get closer to my entry point, because if we're already up 10 ticks and it's going to move it and you won't be able to see it, it's going to happen so quickly. So let's get a little bit closer down here, and I'm going to apply this ATM. You can see we're at 3606.25, getting closer. Okay, good enough. Let's apply it now. And you can see that we're going to be brought up to break even pretty quickly because it's 10 ticks behind. I'm going to move our trend now going up, and it's going to reduce that risk all the way up to our entry point until we're at break even once we're 10 ticks above our price. So these orders, the stop and the target, this was all placed when you applied that ATM. They weren't there before. The automation and the break even is also been added to it. So as we go up, this is going to jump up our stop all the way to that break even point. Now we have to be up 10 ticks from that price. So we're almost there. There you go. So that's our break-even jump from where we were to setting that ATM. And that's all happening again after the fact. So maybe you entered the market and you forgot to place an ATM. You can always go back and add it to it. And the key to doing all that, just again, is going into your positions tab, right clicking on it and applying the ATM that you want.